Good morning. This morning we're going to talk matcha. And I'm excited because we've got something for everyone when we're talking about matcha. If you haven't had matcha before, it is a power-packed, incredible beverage. What flavor am I going to have here? I've got some peppermint, I've got some cinnamon, pumpkin spice, salted caramel, sweet blueberry. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to blend the salted caramel with the cinnamon. I'm pretty pumped for this. So when we're talking about matcha, first let me show you what it looks like. Matcha is a form of green tea, and in a half teaspoon serving of this fantastic green powder, you are going to get 65 times the antioxidants than you are going to find in a cup of blueberries. It is really good for your immunity, for your metabolism, for your skin. The high antioxidant levels just help with everything. And I'm going to make it two ways this morning. There's different things you can look at in the catalog when you're learning how to make matcha. One of the things I love is my matcha shaker. You add your matcha in with some water and some ice, and all you do is shake it up and drink it. That's probably the fastest way to enjoy it cold. The next way is to get the matcha stirrer, and this is available for hosts. The matcha stirrer is in gray for hosts. This was a consultant special they had a while ago that has it in green, and you throw your matcha in, you hit the button, and it spins around. Another great way to enjoy your matcha, and I use this one all the time. But when I like my matcha hot, I go to my tried true matcha whisk. The matcha whisk, you might think to yourself, I don't need another whisk. I've got a whisk, but there's a difference with this one. If you notice the bottom is flat. And with a flat bottom, all you do with this matcha whisk is you push it down, and that is going to cause it to spin and to agitate. But because it's flat, it's able to get to the sides of your cup a lot easier than a hand whisk. And also when you're trying to hand whisk in a cup, it gets a little messy. So you just push this down. The only thing I caution you on is you want to keep water out of the handle because you don't want to have the mechanisms get gunked up. So I usually rinse it off, hand wash it afterwards, and keep the liquid out of the handle. So I have just put my caramel matcha into my frother because if I'm going to have this hot, I'm going to enjoy this as a decadent latte. And I'm going to start with some chocolate milk. In the frother, you can add whatever you like. It doesn't have to be milk. It can be a milk substitute. Soy milk really froths well. Cashew milk froths well. Rice milk, not so much. Almond milk, you'll get some bubbles, but maybe not a full thick froth. And before I do, adding the matcha to the froth is not a required step. It's just something that I like to do for extra flavor in the froth. And I'm going to use my whisk just to mix it into the liquid before I actually froth it up. And the reason I start with the froth is because the best way to get a good froth for your lattes is to let it sit for a little bit. So I start with the froth because the matcha making itself does not take long. And the nice thing is, yes, I am a tea lady, and you know I'm a tea lady. However, I also do make lattes for my husband, and I use the matcha. So I take his coffee as a base. I will use different flavors of matcha in his coffee, and then I'll use my frother to make the froth and top it up. So you're not limited to just tea beverages. Now, the interesting thing, though, is, well, I'm more of a matcha person than a coffee person. You should know the difference between the two and why people are more interested in matcha these days. So I told you about some of the health benefits with it. The other things that are important to know about matcha is that it's less acidic than coffee. And being less acidic than coffee means it's going to not play with your blood sugars the same way. So you're not going to get the crashes and you're not going to get the headaches associated with it. In coffee, you're looking at having sort of 2 to 3 hours worth of energy with it. With matcha, you're looking at 4 to 6 hours of energy with it. I'm just going to set that aside. So in terms of your energy levels, in terms of how you feel, it's a gentler, more alert caffeination. I'm now going to go for my cinnamon matcha. So this is a double matcha day. So I'm going to take my half teaspoon scoop, put it in. I also love the new matcha spoon. The old matcha spoon was really short. It was about half this height. So you'd be digging into the bag and you'd get the matcha all over your knuckles. The new matcha spoon, no matcha knuckles. Isn't that brilliant? Okay, this is how easy it is to make matcha. Put the matcha in the cup, add the water, whisk, you're done. I'm going to top mine up with a little more water. I tend to do my water in 2 batches because on the first batch, I just like to cover the whisk enough to get it mixed in, and then I top it up. You can mix your matcha into teas, coffees. You can mix your matcha in, I love to mix it in hot chocolate. But you're not limited to just drinking your matcha. You can stir it into yogurt. I tried to combine the words yogurt and oatmeal into one word. It was going to come out as, I'm not even sure what was going to come out, but it was definitely trying to be a combo of those two. You can mix it in your oatmeal. You can bake with it. I have a great recipe for a pumpkin spice matcha loaf. You can make them into energy bites. I do that by mixing it with dates and sunflower seeds or nuts and a little pinch of sea salt. So there's many different ways that you can have matcha incorporated into what you do. You can make a great salad dressing with matcha, and for a little tangy twist, add a little kombucha to it. So let's check on my froth. If I was a more patient person and I wasn't going to make you sit here longer, I would let this sit longer, because when I'm frothing my milk in this, I can actually get it so thick that it peaks like whipped cream. But today, I just want to get the really thick froth. That's kind of that top layer. Look at how that comes out. So this is my cinnamon matcha salted caramel mixed with chocolate milk latte. If I was feeling a little festive and fun, my go-to ingredient to make it a little more exciting is rum chata. And then add a little topper on it. This is maple cinnamon vanilla. Maple cinnamon vanilla? Topper. This one's not in the catalog anymore, but I still have some and I cherish it. But you can sprinkle some cinnamon, a little sugar on there, and there you go. There is my cinnamon salted caramel matcha latte. Thanks for coming out this morning. Put some questions in the comments for me. Come over and check out my VIP group on Facebook at Fun Fits Fab TVIPs, and I hope you have a spectacular day.